Welcome to First Stroke to the PGA, the unqualified, overly optimistic, and mildly delusional quest to go from my first golf swing ever to the Pro Tour. I'm recording every chunk, shank, lost ball, and occasional miracle shot along the way. If you like big dreams, bad decisions, and watching someone learn the hard way, grab a cart and ride along. Let's tee it up. Because how hard could this possibly be? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to First Stroke to the PGA. Apologies for going MIA there for a couple of weeks. Had some life things coming up that had my mind elsewhere and not really focused on producing the podcast. So, apologies for missing the last couple weeks. I know in the last one I had mentioned that we were going through and looking to change from weekly episodes to bi-weekly, and then life came and kind of smacked me right in the face. So, a little backstory without going into too much detail. My brother got sick, was in ICU for a couple of days in a medically induced coma. So, took a couple days, but he got kind of back up and at him. He's home now, so everything ended up being okay. But there was a couple days there where we really weren't sure if he was going to be coming home. So, very, very thankful that things have kind of mellowed out in that front, and hoping that we're able to kind of keep things normal for a couple of weeks. June and July, and really this whole summer's been kind of chaotic with just things in general, work related in the personal side. So the the plan moving forward is hopefully some things get kind of mellowed out and we can keep more of a consistent schedule moving forward like I really want to. But I think the bi-weekly schedule of the podcast is going to end up being better because it gives me a little bit more time until I can consistently get out to the course, or I can just start playing in general, where when things are busy at work, I can't always go to the driving range and hit balls, or schedules don't line up to where I can go with a couple buddies to go to the driving range and get the feedback that I'm looking for. So it's being a little, the summer's ended up being a little bit busier than I was anticipating. So I think the bi-weekly is going to be a positive for the channel over doing weekly episodes that are just really filler for when I can't get out there and play. But even if you'd like them in more of a shorter form, if you'd rather see a podcast that comes out weekly, even if it's only 15 to 30 minutes instead of 45 minutes to an hour, I'm open to do that as well. I just need to make sure that I'm doing what you guys think is going to be best for the way for this to progress, right? I want to make sure that whatever I'm putting out there is high quality. It's not filler. It's not something just that gets put on a weekly rotation because that's what it's supposed to do. So if there's anything in feedback, positive or negative, I'm open to either one. Let me know down in the comments below so that way I can really tailor this and continue to shape and to mold it based on the community, the feedback that I'm hoping that you guys are going to give me, and good, bad, or indifferent. I always want to be growing and showing that I've got, while this is a platform for me to work through my progress and do all these things for myself in terms of getting better at golf. I also want to make sure that I'm doing what is best for the community. I mean, if I could sit up here and talk about whatever for 30, 45 minutes and then nobody cares. So if there's things that I need to change to be better, I'm all about it. So just let me know either way. I'm going to try moving forward to have more of a structure in the way that I'm putting these together. And I'm going to try something new. I've got notes written down from my last couple golf range or my driving range sessions. And I'm hoping that having a little bit more structure, and it's going to add some fluidity to what I'm talking about and make it make a little bit more sense. And having some key points to talk about over the course of the episode, I'm hoping it's going to allow me to elaborate more on what I've gone through in a better way and not so much ramble. So, the first topic I'm going to go over is the recent outings that I've had at the at Sunflower Hills Golf Club. Still working out the terminology, so we'll see how that works out. But um, I went. I didn't get to go last week, but I did get to go the week before. Today is July 20th, and July's really been a quiet month for the golf course. It's been really hot out here in Kansas City, and it's been kind of miserable. I mean, when we're going, we're usually doing the medium sized bucket that we get. It's like $6, and then when it's been cooler out, we'll go over to the putting green and we'll do an iteration of around the world. And the last 3 or 4 times we've gone, we have not stopped to go to the putting greens. So that's uh, that's made the trips very quick, and we're going for more speed and working through things than it is necessarily trying to go out there and be in the moment and learn. And I'm going out there for repetition and to work on some small things and get feedback while I'm doing it. So, um, from what I've noticed up until my last visit to the driving range, it's really been kind of a lot of the same. I'm getting really good contact on the ball a fair amount of the time. And then there's a couple of them where I'm just just whiffing. And I can't tell you how frustrating it is whenever you go through and you have a couple of really good pieces of contact, and I decide to stick with my club for one more ball. Like, oh, I figured something out. I'm gonna keep this club for one more ball, and then I whiff it, and then I'm leaving with a negative feeling on whatever club it was, versus ending on a high note. And that's one thing that I'm gonna try moving forward, is trying to be better about ending on a good swing, leaving a positive in my mind for whatever club it is that I'm swinging. So, um, I was getting consistent drives with my driver, and I was able to get it anywhere between like 150 and 190 ish. And it was always kind of slicing right or slicing left. And I couldn't really figure out what I was doing wrong. I felt like I was driving the ball. I felt like I was getting my weight in the right spot, and it just wasn't getting any further than about 150 to 100, we'll say 175 yards on average. And I couldn't find a flow where I was consistently hitting it well. I would have one where I would strike the ball really well. It would go anywhere between that 150 and 190, and then I would top the next 2 or 3 balls. So there was a solid like end of June into the middle of early middle part of July where I was just really inconsistent with my hitting, my swings, um, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Then I went last week or the week before, I'm sorry, and I don't know what I did differently, but I went with my buddy Ozzy, and he gave me a quick little tip on rotating my, almost like flicking your wrist towards the bottom of my swing, and it was a game changer. He pointed it out to me about halfway through my progression, where I had worked from my pitching wedge to my 9, my 7, and I think he got it towards the tail end of my 7 iron, going into my 6 and my 5 irons. And when I tell you, I immediately started hitting the ball 10 or 15 yards further. uh, I I don't know what changed. It was such a small movement that I didn't think anything was really going to come of it, but it it was such a drastic difference, and I was hitting the ball straight. And I haven't had contact like that, I don't think ever, or consistently at least, because I would hit the ball and then I'd have one or two good swings on whatever club I was doing, a couple of okay ones, and then like one or two where I either whiffed it, topped it, whatever. And once I did that, on every ball I had left, I had solid contact. Now they weren't all perfectly straight or perfectly whatever, but from the 6 iron to the five, through my woods, everything was solid connection, with the exception of like one or two balls. The rest of that 30 minutes we were there. Um, and it was like a little light bulb clicked. As soon as I implemented that, it was like I had opened my eyes or swung like I had just seen, like, I don't know. It was crazy and I still can't describe it because it was just such a different feeling when I was swinging the club versus how it's felt before. I did something a little bit different that I haven't done consistently when I've gotten to my woods because I've tried hitting them off of the ground. And I was super, super inconsistent with the way I was hitting those. And it was my least favorite. My 3 wood, my 5 wood were my least favorite clubs in the bag. Didn't really like to touch them. I'd hit one or two balls every time. I'd move through those really quick to get to my driver. So I decided to do something a little bit different this last time out. And I I put them on tees, which I know that's not super unorthodox or oh my god, but I'd always hit them off the green, like off the ground, and to go in there and hit them off the tees, it was a completely different feeling than I was having when I was swinging them before. So I I teed them up. Ozzy gave me a couple pieces of feedback on the tee height, and I think he actually told me to lower it a little bit so that way I could swing through a little bit better. But even with this little rotation in my wrist, it made the contact on that so much better. And it's I won't forget listening to Chasing Scratch, because there was a point like, um, one of the guys on there was just like, I figured out golf. I did it. and, and I had that moment. It was like an epiphany where I really was just like, oh my God, this is like my haha moment. And it was a really positive experience for my swing. And it was a really positive experience for just what I feel like is my progression thus far. I've had decent success, I think, so far, just with my background in baseball. Translating it over to a golf swing has been, I think, easier than trying to learn how to swing anything in general. But this one felt like I made some real progress with the rest of it because I wasn't hitting it as far as Ozzy was, but my connection was a lot more consistent along with what he was doing. So I felt like more of a, um, not a competitor, but like we were more on the same playing field versus he was obviously so much better than I was. And I was just the new guy trying to learn how to swing the damn club. Now, that being said, he's still immensely better than I am. And we still haven't gone out to play golf. Um, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but the changes that I've really made to the swing so far are really kind of what I want to key in on because I've been watching as I've watched highlights and as I've watched just videos in general, whether it's Bryson or Grant Horvat, or I've subscribed to a Good Golf, and I haven't really watched any of their videos yet. I think I have a rare form of OCD where if I subscribe to a channel, I'm compelled to start at the very bottom of their when they started making videos and work my way up. I think something's wrong with me, but uh, I'm about caught up with Bryson DeChambeau's, and then I'm going to go into Grant Horvat, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know, but I think that's a problem that can be sorted out later. But as I've noticed my swing evolve a little bit since I've started being more consistent with my swing, I'm in my mind, I'm looking a little bit more like what I'm seeing when I watch Bryson swing or, Scott or Rory or whoever, where my swing is mimicking not what they're doing necessarily because I'm not anywhere near as good as any of those people are, but my form is better. And I think I'm going to upload a video where it shows my first couple times where I was out there. I recorded myself one time swinging the ball or swinging the clubs at the range. And I think it'd be cool to do a however many months ago that was to now comparison, just so that way I can see the changes in my swing. Oh my God. My coffee's wearing off. So sorry. Um, but I think it would be cool to have something like that where I can visually see what I'm doing differently. And I've got an 8 iron that I keep at the house. It's not a part of my set, but it's something that I don't really feel like I need. So I'll work through those, but I've that's like my practice club at home. So if we're doing something, my wife's washing the baby or whatever, um, they're laying down for a nap or doing something where I've got 15, 20 minutes to myself. Oh my God. Then I can go through and do a couple practice swings, right? I mean, I can go through and try to improve my swing a little bit. I did, I think, 100 swings last night where I was just trying to keep my left arm straight as I could for as long as I could, and then push my body forward. So with the golf shoes that I've got, they I'm very planted, which is a new feeling for me because I've just been going in tennis shoes and it's harder for me to keep my balance. And when I am going through here, and apologies for any background noise because I'm having to work through this in my head, but when I'm going into my swing and I go back, I'm trying to keep my arm as straight as I can for as long as I can before I flex my elbow and then I swing through. And another piece of feedback that I've gotten from my buddy Ozzy is whenever I do the swing, I'm not I'm not following through. Like my feet are so planted that I'm not following through with my swing and driving my body forward. So when I'm doing my swing now, and that's what I've practiced, is I will go through swing and try to push my right hip forward while keeping my left leg more planted and firm. I'm keeping everything as one fluid motion. And that's what I'm going to work on the next time we go to the range is implementing that from just a swing with my 8 iron at home to doing it at the range and seeing how that translates and tweaking it a little bit from there. So um, those are some of the changes I think I've noticed in my swing, which is really cool. I mean, just from the first swing that I made in that to when I was done, first off, holy crap, I was tired. Just doing those few little practice swings while trying to talk. Whew, gotta get back in the gym. But um, the difference I noticed just in my swing from when I first started doing that last night to when I was done was crazy. I mean, it it felt like a completely different swing whenever I started to drive my right leg to push everything forward. And I'm really, really excited to see how that works to push it through going to the driving range. So um, I touched earlier on why I still haven't been able to get out to the golf course to play around a golf. And I think earlier in this series, I had mentioned that I had some reservations about going out by myself. I think I had mentioned something about having some reservations about going out by myself to go to the golf course and play around a golf by myself. And it just has not worked out for me to be able to go with a group of people or even just one other person. And I don't want to go out to play around by myself. One, because I don't know the etiquette. I'm not trying to piss people off when I'm out there doing my thing. If I'm doing something accidentally disrespectful to the people behind me or whatever. So I want to go there and have somebody to kind of make sure that I'm not doing anything stupid while I'm out on the course. The second piece is that as much as I want to go out there and play and just get the first time done, I want to go with somebody so I can also have that feedback. And the feedback is very, very important for me because it's the whole premise of this podcast, right? It's the whole premise of me getting out there to play, right? I want to go out there and get better. This isn't something that I'm doing just as a, well, shit, let's see what we can do, right? I want to make sure that I'm doing better and I'm learning from people that are better than me. And the only way I can do that is if I go in a group. I was taught very, very young that you surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And I take that into the way that I play sports too, because I surround myself with people that are better than me in that regard too, because the more that I'm able to go through and say, hey, you're an expert in this field, or you've been playing this, doing anything a lot longer than I have. Show me what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing well, what I could be better at, and what is solid for where I'm at. And that's one thing that I'm adamant about, and that's why I don't want to go out there by myself and play around by myself, even if it would just be easier for me to go 5 minutes down the road to my local golf course. I think it's St. Andrews, and just go play around. I want to have somebody there that has played before, and I don't necessarily need somebody that's taking it super seriously. But I've had a few of my coworkers and friends who are like, "Hey, we like to drink when we play. We like to do this. Da 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 da." That's not what I'm about. I want to go out there to get better and to play and to really just kind of fine tune what I think I can do well and find out the areas that I need to improve on. So that way my range sessions can be even better and more productive moving forward because I know as soon as I go there, I'm gonna be like, gotta work on this because my 3 wood was terrible or whatever. So that's the reason why it's kind of fallen apart. The people that I've gone that I had planned to go with just had things come up, and you know, as much as I would love to say that it's easy to go out there and drop what you're doing and go play golf. I'm in my early 30s. The people that I'm playing with are around the same age as me or a little bit older. So we've all got things in our lives that are going on, which make it really hard to just drop things and go. We all work full time. We've all got families and kids, all this other stuff that's going on. And then you throw in stuff like what happened that I talked about earlier with my brother. Stuff just gets put sideways, and golf is not the end all be all. It's not the most important thing. And until it gets to a point where it's my job, then it's going to take a backseat to things that it needs to take the backseat to. Um, Work and more importantly, family will always become before any type of hobby. So I need to get out and play around a golf, and I know I need to, and I'm going to be so excited to talk about it when I finally do. But that's just kind of where we're at right now. And with it being in the middle of summer, it's just been miserable out here in Kansas City. If you grew up in the Midwest, um, you know what those thick summer days are like, where it's just super thick air and it's really humid and it's just miserable to be outside. Um, One thing I'm seriously looking into as an alternative to continue to get better is I'm seriously considering investing in the Golf Daddy simulator. So if anybody's got one, has any feedback on it, I'd love to hear feedback on it, good, bad, and indifferent. So that way I can make a sound call on whether or not it's a worthwhile investment. Um, I know it's only $100, but I'm not in the mindset of spending money to spend money. And if it's a worthwhile investment, I would love to find a way to be able to play golf at home where I can practice on the things that I need to practice on, but I'm not being disruptive to my family if they're inside or whatever. So I really like the way the Golf Daddy sounds in theory, and I'm curious to see what they can do. So, Golf Daddy people who make this, hey, if you need some guy to test it out, drop a comment. We'll see what we can do. We'll work together. Shameless plug to get a free Golf Daddy. So that's one thing that I've learned, that you got to try to get what you can. So shameless plug. Please, Golf Daddy developers, send me a free Golf Daddy. um, there's a show that I've been watching recently, so a little bit of a segue away from my personal journey to there's a show on Apple TV that's been out for a couple, shoot, I think over a month now, and it's called Stick. It's got Owen Wilson and then a bunch of other people that I don't really know, but it's about a golfer who finds this, protege. I think it's about me. It's future forecasting what I'm going to do. But it's about a younger kid that's really, really good at golf, has a really solid foundation, but has quit playing for one reason or another. And I want to touch on it a little bit. And if there's the desire or the need or the want from you guys to listen to a recap of the entire season, I will do it. But I really wanted this just to be a kind of a quick rundown of the show and my thoughts of it as a new golfer. And on the surface, as a very black and white, if you don't want to listen to the next however long of me describing what I think about the show, then the too long didn't read is I like it. It's a little goofy, and it seems like it's mixing up what it's trying to be a little bit, because it tries to be super comedy one minute and then it's very drama heavy in the next. And it's a little rocky with some of the stuff, but my wife and I started watching it because it was a golf show, and I was like, ooh, it was made by the same people that made Ted Lasso. So I gave it a go, and I mean, I really like it. As a new golfer, it gives me kind of that ooh, this is something that I like, that I'm watching, and it's a TV show about it. Ooh, very similar to the way I was whenever Ted Lasso came out, because I'm a big soccer fan too. So it was really cool to kind of see something that I'm interested in terms of like a professional sport, be showcased on a TV show with a high level actor like Owen Wilson. So um, it's a little goofy sometimes, and it's kind of back and forth on its identity of what it's trying to be. But as a whole, I really really enjoy the show, um, and it's something I'm hoping it gets renewed for a second season, because they're only 30-minute episodes, so it's not like it's a huge time suck for me to sit down and watch an episode. But the season finale is this coming Wednesday, and I'm kind of curious to see where it's at, so I won't spoil anything on the show in this episode. But if that's something you'd like to see, where I go through and maybe when I'm not playing golf to help make sure that we're going through, then we can go through and watch some golf movies, and I can do reviews of it, because I haven't really watched anything. I saw Happy Gilmore, I think, one time when I was like 11 years old. So that's something I could go back and watch with a newfound appreciation, because I like golf now. So if you guys have shows or movies, anything like that that you think that would be really, really good to review or talk about, let me know. I'm here to kind of ingrain myself in everything. So the last piece that I really want to touch on, which I kind of touched on towards the beginning of the episode, was kind of the future of the podcast and what we're doing, and the things I'm trying to find that make more sense to post, and go through and just kind of build up the integrity of the show, because the last couple weeks have been really rocky. So I really want to stick to a bi-weekly schedule, at least for right now. If I feel like the episodes are getting too long, or it's too much for a bi-weekly episode, then I will switch back to weekly. But I think keeping it at a bi-weekly schedule right now is going to be the best thing for the content and for my sanity, just because it's at work and everything right now, it's going to be very very busy, And I want to make sure that we're not sacrificing the quality of the content or things that I need to talk about just to fill out an episode. I'm open to suggestion if you guys think that there's things that need to be done to make the platform better. If you'd rather see these as videos over just me talking, I'm down. Um, but I think keeping it as a bi-weekly series for right now is going to be the best thing moving forward, and kind of flexing as needed, right? And one thing I would love to get your guys' feedback on is if there's something that, let's say, kind of something similar happens in what's happened right now. Hopefully it doesn't, but if for whatever reason I'm gonna miss making an episode, would you all just rather see it like, or if there's just not enough content for an episode, would you rather it just be a shorter form podcast, like 15-20 minutes, or would you rather it be kind of held over for an additional week, 2 weeks, and then I have a normal 30 to 45 minute or even an hour long episode? So that's kind of what I've come up with as an option, because I don't want to give you guys filler. I don't want this to be me talking about nothing for no reason and just talking in circles. So, like I said, I'm open to suggestion. If there's things that you think that would make this better, let me know down in the comments, and I'm happy to just to try things out to make sure that I'm putting the best content out there that I can. So, those are really the things that I wanted to touch on. It's been kind of a quiet couple weeks here on my end, minus the stuff going on with the family, and it's been really quiet in terms of golf. My last outing was my best one by far, and it's given me a lot of excitement to go out there and get on the range again and go out and play a round of golf. Um, but with vacations and all this other stuff that's coming up in July, I don't know that it's going to happen until maybe August. So I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later, but like they tell you a long time ago, you hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So that's the plan moving forward, and we're going to keep the bi-weekly schedule going on moving forward. So I will see you all in 2 weeks' time, and thanks so much for listening, and let me know down in the comments below if you have any suggestions. Thanks. That's a wrap on First Stroke to the PGA. If you're into wild misses, humble goals, and questionable club choices, give us a follow and share the show. Got advice, swing tips, or just want to roast my form? I'm all ears. Hit me up. Until next time, aim high, score low, and if no one saw it, it didn't happen. Cheers.